Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me just say this. We keep hearing the SBA is going to be implementing this agreement in a nonpartisan way. We just heard that. But that's simply not true. The administrator chooses where to go and which event to promote to the American people. And therefore, if you want to avoid registering Republicans, you don't go where they're located, as we just saw on the map. You don't do any press on it. You don't invite the Michigan Secretary of State's office to set up a table to register voters. There are still a lot of unanswered questions and we aren't going to stop looking at this until we start to receive some real answers, which Representative McClain has tried to get from you. But with that said, let me yield back the rest of my time to Chairwoman Van Dyne.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me be clear. The reason why we're continuing to push this investigation is because the SBA has stonewalled us at every turn. You briefed the committee on May 3rd, but shut down more questions than you provided answers. The Chief of Staff said he could not recall pertinent information almost 200 times. We aren't getting answers, we aren't getting documents, and that's a fact. Further, the House passed my bill, which would create a link on the SBA's website for people to report COVID fraud at the SBA. We literally needed an act of Congress to get that link created. And guess what? SBA still hasn't done it. Instead, you're prioritizing creating a link to register voters. I think the SBA's priorities are pretty crystal clear. They want to register voters and forget about fraud. Under the NVRA, which we've heard a number of times today, the states are allowed to request help from agencies, not the other way around. The SBA has told us, and you, Ms. Kim, told us that the SBA reached out first. Do you stand by that statement?
I don't think that I said that.
Well, in fact, the legal ground upon which you and the Democrats are attempting to stand is shaky at best. I mean, you said the SBA heard that Michigan was interested in engaging with the SBA to register votes, but who told the SBA that Michigan was interested, and how did you know? This isn't normal. The NVRA has never been used like this in 30 years. In the SBA's own words, this is the first of its kind agreement, as the SBA stated in their press release. This hearing has shown that the SBA is as ineffective in implementing this project as they are with anything else. If not, you're at least consistent, if not anything else. So, Ms. Kim, you couldn't give me or Ms. Skelton a viable reason for the lack of implementation of this MOU, and it's obvious the SBA doesn't seem to have any kind of plan to implement it at all. But on top of that, you and the Democrats are saying that this voter registration is so vitally important to small businesses' survival in Michigan that you've got to prioritize it. And yet now you're saying that the small businesses don't even have access to the URL that you spent time putting together. And how does that make any sense? So it seems like we started looking into this, and as we started our investigation and asking questions and having your folks come to our committee and answer those questions and tried getting documents, you stopped implementing the program. At least that's what it would seem, because we haven't been able to get any answers today on the time frame, on when the URL is going up. You've had this agreement signed since March. It's now nearly the end of July, and nothing has happened. So you're just as effective in this program as some others. But I appreciate your time here today.
Will the gentlelady?
Oh, I'm going to yield the rest of my time to Representative McClain.
Question for you, Ms. Kim. Did you reach out to the state of Michigan, or did the state of Michigan reach out to you?
I joined the SBA in 2022, so the conversations with Michigan had started 2021, so I don't have firsthand knowledge of those.
Do you have secondhand knowledge?
Again, my understanding is that, Michigan was interested in partnering, and so, the whole...
So, can you get that answer?
I'm not honestly sure who would have it, but I can definitely look into it. Again, it happened before I got here. And I should add...
So I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So you don't know if the state of Michigan reached out to you to implement this program, or you reached out to the state of Michigan. And I say that because it's a very critical question that you don't have the answer to. If you don't have the answer, who would? Perhaps your boss?
Again, all the work with the state of Michigan started before I joined the agency.
But you use that as a common excuse. It started before you joined the agency. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you joined the agency when again?
In March of 2022.
In March of 2022. Mm-hmm. So any work that was done before March of 2022, you have no clue on?
I have some general understanding, and again, when I started, the kind of work was already happening, and I,
So
checked in on.
you just like, okay, wasn't me. Do you think you could get me that answer?
The lady's time has expired.
Let her answer, please. Do you think you could get that answer?
Any specific requests, I'm sure we can follow up.
The lady's,
So I'll take
the
it as a
lady's,
yes.
the lady's time has expired. I'd like to thank our witness for
Madam
her
Chair.
testimony and for appearing before us today. Without objection, members have 5 legislative days to submit additional materials and written questions for the witnesses to the chair, which will be forwarded to the witness. I ask the witness to please respond promptly. If there's no further business, without objection, the committee is adjourned.